Hey guys, Justin Vintage 55 here, and you all freak out whenever I show you any piece of the inside of our home. So I'm going to give you a little tour of our vintage appliances that we actually use every day. Currently, I tend to change them out when I find something cooler. But this is our home, which is a old farmhouse in Roseburg, Oregon. We think it was built in 1872. The deed says 1854, but needless to say, we didn't make it period correct. It was already remodeled a couple times, and I want electricity and plumbing, so we didn't do 1854. But we tend to do early 50s, late 40s for a lot of our decor and appliances. But so anyway, real small little kitchen connected to our dining room. Our dining room, we just have a little table with some teak chairs. Little hutch for the china, and this is my wallet, catch-all area. We have fans mounted in the different rooms so we can get circulation if we need it, because it does get hot here. And when we moved in, this was a 90s Disgusto kitchen with half the cabinets were broken, half of them were stolen. There was a moldy old fridge. Half the one of the countertops was gone, and the other one had a hole in it. I don't remember. No sink, and everything was that yellow oak. So this is a real easy way to mid-century fire your home. It's just take off the doors and do flat wood. So this is the old interior still. The cabinets were the same, and we just took off the doors, and you just do insets for the hinges that were already on it. We just changed the knobs, and literally just 2 sheets of sanded ply, and your router bullnose the edge, and they're just flat. And this is what most ranch houses, 50s stuff, would have had back in the day, just real simple painted kitchens. This originally had the big bread box roll up 90s thing here, and a couple more cabinets that went up there. Chelsea wanted open shelving with wood, so I did those and put all my old trash up there. This is my grandma's Hamilton Beach mixer that she got when she got married, and I restored that, and we used that for juicing. Is that what we used that for? That's pretty much what we only use that for, because I restored this 70s KitchenAid mixer that she uses for her baking. And these are countertops that we had a counter guy in town put in. I cut the patterns for him for what I wanted, and it's just I forget what this is. It's not epoxy, but
Pentyl quartz.
Yeah, that. But it's a nice neutral. It goes with all the vintage stuff. We didn't want to fork out for something crazy, and also we didn't want it to be a little too kitschy. We tend to like classic, not super dated to any period. And then we got the small hardware for those, and the double pulls that you see everywhere for these. Our peninsula used to be out here and had cabinets underneath it. I got rid of those. Just did a little push out with the leg and got some teak stools for that. I got these little vintage towel holders pretty much everywhere, hidden all over the place. Our plant wall with more open shelving that Chelsea wanted. That's our chicken basket. We get the eggs out for the hens, and that's the chicken waste basket, and stuff goes out to them. That's Admiral radio that I put some Bluetooth in, and that's the kitchen radio that you can just walk in and hook up to. Our usefulness stuff. I made this for the dog so we could sweep underneath. Everybody on Instagram was going crazy for that for some reason. But it's really simple, just 2 pieces of scrap wood, cut some holes for some stainless bowls, and you can sweep underneath it. He doesn't have to lean over to eat. This is the newest edition. We just put this in. It's not hooked up yet, and it's not leveled yet, and it's not actually physically mounted yet, but I cut it and inset it and everything. This is Western Holly wall oven that we picked up in San Diego that came out of Hollywood. Western Holly is an LA-based, or was an LA-based company, and this was fully working when it pulled, and I cleaned it out, did a little bit of stuff to it, but it should be fully operational once I run a new gas line for it. But Chelsea's been bugging me for a second oven for a couple of years now because she wants 2 ovens for baking, and our stove is a oven broiler. Stuff I made. I made this big cutting board for her out of some wood that I had. I made this fruit rack. This was a Christmas present to her this year, just to keep stuff not in a big basket. It takes up space. The egg basket my friend Lane made. I need to switch over. Obviously the hens are freeloading right now. Chelsea sourdough stuff. A garlic guy that's strangely, like, he looks kind of evil, like he's up to something. And being in an old farmhouse, if you guys know, mice is a constant problem. In the winter, all of a sudden, you know, everything's fine, and then all of a sudden you have 5 mice in your kitchen, and you have to catch them all. And so the running joke was, Chelsea, there's another mouse in the kitchen, and she goes in there, and I found this little guy, and he tends to migrate around the kitchen. But so yeah, the cabinets, that was a real easy, cheap way to upgrade what was already here. Literally just cut out what we didn't like, sand the cabinets, paint them, put some new faces on. I think the whole thing cost, you know, $200, and our whole kitchen was different. I got these cutouts. On this one, this is a vent, a secondary vent that I cut into the wall that matches these faces with the cutouts that I put underneath, like an old style drain vent would have been. This had a dishwasher in it originally, but I cut it out and just put a thing here so the dog and the baby can get to it, and that's our trash. It's a big basin farmhouse sink, which the specific one that I bought to go in here, I was really excited about. We cut the counter to fit, and blah blah blah. 6 months later, got a crack in it. So I'm still looking for something. It's a weird size, so I'm still looking for a size to replace this, but oh well. Little reproduction, you know, faucet with the hose thing. Chelsea's Berkey. And the cool stuff. So this is our I think it's a 1949 Western Holly oven. This side is oven. This side is broiler. It's got cast stuff starting out right now. And your 4 burners, clock and timer, and your light up here. And what's cool about this one too, if you do a lot of baking, other than the coolness of porthole windows, you have a cooling rack built into the back that you can put your stuff on. That's what this paper up here is for when she makes bread. She can wrap it up and make it all ready. And I broke a plant. I'm sorry, babe. And cast iron that she uses all the time is hanging up there for use. And this is our fridge. This is a 1939 GE. This is a side-by-side, but not like what we think of now as a side-by-side. But this is porcelain, so this is a pretty rare one. It's white porcelain. This isn't paint, so that's why there's a couple chips on it that have been touched up. That you basically have to re-porcelain this entire thing, and not very many places in the country do it anymore. This is a nice survivor, but it matches our stove, and you can wipe all this down, and you can use it as a whiteboard, which is awesome with porcelain. This is where we keep our fruit. But I need to defrost it. It's far past that time, but the shoemaker's kids get no shoes, and I tend to neglect the things that I tell you guys not to neglect. But so those are 2 freezer boxes, and the rest is fridge. So very Spartan, very simple, no whiz-bang stuff. This is, you know, post-depression, pre-war stuff. So it's just practical, which is what I like. It's got a thermometer in the door, which is also kind of cool. And real simple. This is dry storage. It's just a shelf in there, and this is the compressor access. So that's our kitchen and our dining room. You come into our laundry room. So this is our pantry and laundry room. It's got the window door on here. Dog food, craziness, back door, doggy door, little laundry or storage pantry. coat rack. This coat rack I made out of Chelsea's great aunt's player piano that nobody wanted. Nobody wanted to deal with, so I broke it apart and made a bunch of stuff for all the family members out of it. This is wood off that piano, and these are boat hooks off an old boat we used to have. So, yeah, I'm a big proponent of using stuff, finding a use for it, because no matter how you use it, it's a coat rack, but this use is better than it going into a dumpster. And I also am super against nostalgia for nostalgia's sake, which is ironic considering what I do for a living. But if you have a giant piano and nobody plays piano, the piano's broken and can't play, nobody wants to pay $5,000 to have it tuned, nobody's playing a plain piano, nobody wants a giant piano in their house, but what do we do with it? This is a way that everybody in the family can get their piece of that tangible memory of that person without having to argue over who's storing the piano. And then nobody enjoys it because they're being forced to store a piano. But that's something to think about. This is our deep freezer. This is just big storage freezer. This is that's where we keep all our chickens that we process and other stuff. This is a big rich plan, which that actually stumped me when I first saw it. It's by Carrier. Carrier is the manufacturer of a lot of commercial stuff, but the big rich plan was a like a kind of like an early whatever that company was. They brought groceries to your door back in the 90s, and you'd rent the fridge. So you signed up for the big rich plan, and you said what you wanted. You know, I want quarter side of beef and 3 things of bacon and 2 chickens and blah blah blah, and then every month they bring it to you and you'd pay them and they deliver this set amount every month or week or whatever it was, and you'd rent their freezers in the big rich freezer, and that would be part of the whole deal is they put a freezer in your house. And so obviously you're supposed to give it back when you don't have the plan anymore, but once they stopped doing that, they just left them all in the homes, and so they're floating around now. But it's a big old freezer, good freezer. It's a little loud, but we had a 10-foot chest deep freezer GE one in here before, and that thing was, it was half the laundry room, and it was, it's too much. So this one vertical, got a splash space back. But this is all just kind of market shelving that Chelsea wanted put in here for the pantry. Moved our microwave in here. This is our laundry room, obviously. So laundry, we have these old Maytags. These are 72, I believe. But these went from the late 60s, 66, I think, like up to, I want to say like 79, basically unchanged. You can get a couple different sizes, a couple different face trim things, but this is the electronic control dryer, which is like the high-end one. It's supposed to control itself and turn itself off, and let you know at moisture level, not a timer. It has a sensor in it. These come in all different colors. We used to have a yellow set, which I think I have a yellow set available at the shop currently. I have an avocado set available too. But these things are fantastic workhorses. There's only like 4 pieces to them, so even if something ever goes wrong, which rarely does, you could fix them super easy. Maytags are awesome. And then after they changed from this in the late 70s, the body, the mechanism, all that stuff continued until like 2000. They just changed the face and added a little bit of electronic controls up here, but the whole mechanism was basically still the same. So folding table and rock station, because we didn't have anywhere else to put our little rock polisher, so this is where Chelsea polishes rocks. Hang up clothes, and that's pretty much it. And I don't think we have any other vintage appliances in the house other than, we have like fans and heaters, space heaters, and obviously lights and radios and things like that. But large appliances, I think that's it. And actually, I'll tell you one more thing. This is another piece of nostalgia for me. I found this in the attic of my grandparents' house. They had a 1955 house in Huntington Beach, California, that it was only cornfields and stuff all around. You could see the beach when they moved in. And they took over the mortgage from my great-grandparents who lived there when they got married. So when they got that Hamilton Beach mixer that I showed you, they moved into this house and they stayed there until a couple years ago. My grandma passed away 5 years ago, and my grandpa moved here up here to Oregon with us like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And so the house got sold and they tore it down. It was in very bad disrepair, but I saved a lot of stuff off of it. We have the old lighting is in our hallway and stairwell. It's the old hallway stair lighting. The door, the front door that I went through so many times is now my office door in the shop. I took a bunch of hardware, a bunch of stuff like that, some cement for bricks, and just tried to save as much as I could that I could use and remember them by. But I went exploring the attic, and my grandpa basically was like, I just need my TV, and walked out. And so I went pushing through the attic and finding all the stuff that was gonna get crushed with the house. And this was up there. It was a different color. This was all tore up and gone, but I brought it back and painted this yellow, took these apart, re-glued everything, and then put it up in the wall. And he came over and he goes, I like that cat painting. I go, you made that, Grandpa? He goes, what? And then he started thinking about it, and he goes, I did make that. And he told me, in 1955, we have a bookshelf he made too out of the same wood. This is teak that has a whole bunch of fiberglass boat epoxy on top of it, or resin, because he had a job in the summer making, or at a boat factory where they make like Chris Crafts and stuff, and he would take all the scraps when he was, 19 and make things for my grandma for presents because I couldn't afford presents. And so he made this cat thing out of, this is way more artistic than Grandpa is, so I'm assuming it was in like Popular Mechanics or, some kit, because there was tons of that kind of stuff where you get a magazine and shows you how do you make a woodworking cat project. But I saw this thing, I love this thing, and it's one of my favorite things that's up on our walls in our house, and it's got history, but it's cool, and yeah, because history is cool. I love old stuff, I love feeling it, I love living in it. It's not just pretty things to look at, which they are, but it's a way of like connecting a little bit more. We're on our screens so much all the time, that touch screens and talking to Siri from across the house and all those things, but like I go over to the stove, I have to physically turn it, I have to get the lighter and light it because it doesn't have electronic ignition. It makes you more present, you're there. Same thing with driving stick, all my trucks are stick. It's just a way of kind of connecting history, connecting the people that were before you, connecting the world that you're living in, and I just think it's awesome. So our whole house, our whole business, our whole lives are based around old stuff, and I don't know, I think that's just because new stuff doesn't have any style. So see you guys later. Thanks for walking through a little bit of our home.